Hi, this is Tiff Shuttlesworth, president of Northpoint Bible College and Seminary, and of all of the vision videos that I have produced, perhaps none for me has been more exciting than this one. And the reason being is our official 2023-2024 academic year just started hours ago. This Wednesday, we began the kickoff, and we're so excited for the incoming freshmen and for all of the incoming students. God is moving on this campus in a wonderful way. Today's chapel, I was so impressed with the presence of God and the worship and the entering in of our students. I think all of you that attended this school, if you had been in chapel today, you would have been blessed. I'm also so grateful to have my wife Judy along. And all week long, we've actually been here for the better part of a week and have been enjoying our time with the students and with faculty and staff. Will you please pray for the outpouring of God's Spirit upon this new academic year? We are hungry for a mighty move of God. I also want to tell you that we covet your prayers for our students. And with every new year and new incoming students, there are personal needs and individual needs. We're praying that God takes these young men and young women and fashions them not only into His image, but begins to help them to understand the perfect will of God. As I've been doing and will continue to do, in our chapel services, I dedicate the entire week to a theme. And this week, our theme has been on the call of God. And I've been preaching and teaching every day on the call of God. Today, in my final chapel of this particular trip, we spoke on the subject of how to know the will of God for your life. And by the way, these messages will be edited and put on our YouTube channel in the near future. I challenge you to not only listen to them, but share them. If you have a youth pastor, youth pastors, young people in your youth group would benefit by listening as well. If you have not already done so, be sure to subscribe to our growing YouTube channel. As I keep stating and will keep repeating, it will be one of our number one ways of communicating the vision, the miracles, the answers to prayer, what God is doing on the campus at Northpoint. We will be utilizing our social media, and in particular, one of my main ways of communicating with you is through these vision videos each week on our YouTube channel. So if you have not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell, which will simply notify you every time there's new content. The thing that I want to leave you with in this vision video is, again, repeating, I'm sure you've heard me say if you've listened at all, that we are completely and wholly dedicated to the core principles of the original vision of this school. And Sister Gibson believed that no student deemed to be called by God should be turned away because of financial inability. Let me say that again, because those of you who attended Zion, those of you who attended Northpoint, I'm sure that you heard that at some point, but I want to run a highlighter through that in your mind in this video. No student deemed to be called by God should be turned away because of financial inability. You know, I've been forced to make a decision, and God has given me that opportunity. Do you really believe that as the new president of Northpoint? I'll just share one story. At the very last moment, I received notice of a young man who feels called to God, by God. His pastor had sent a glowing letter of recommendation. His other letter was a glowing letter of recommendation, and it spoke to his character, his leadership, his desire to be used of God, etc. But that young man, within hours of coming, is in a place where he had no finances whatsoever. I took a step of faith. And I said, let's just believe God. And we invited that young man to come. I've met him. I know his pastor personally, and perhaps because of my knowledge of his pastor, in my heart I felt a confidence to allow that young man to come. Now, we're not talking about free education. We're talking about believing God for provision. But I am appealing to you. We continue to make progress in the areas of finances. I am so happy to announce that as of yesterday, we are now current with all of our past audits. And I'll not even begin to get into the miracle of how God has answered that prayer. We have another audit due in the middle of October. We're on time for having that audit done as well. These are critical components in the health of the institution, in our fiscal score, in our ability to be fiscally integrous, both in the eyes of God and men. But here's my plea to you, and I hope that you'll understand my urgency, because listen carefully to what I'm about to say. We're not out of the woods yet. We have a long way to go. But I can tell you that the response that we've seen, the response by alumni, the generous giving, the rallying of the numbers of people who are beginning to write to me and private message me and email me and say, Tiff, we've got your back. We believe in what God is doing at Northpoint. We want to be a part. Pastors, churches, districts, businesses, people are responding. We are not out of the woods yet. We have a long way to go. We still need to eliminate over $1 million of accounts payable. But here is my plea to you. These students that we're taking in, we need to rally behind them. I'm challenging pastors, churches, Northpoint graduates, Zion graduates. And one of my levels of challenge is $84 a month. That's $1,000 a year. If I'm going to say yes to students who need help, then I need you to help me help them. Some of you might consider a scholarship, and you might be able to enter into a level of scholarship at various levels. I hope some significantly so. But can I usher, as the new president of this wonderful Bible college and seminary that God has sustained for 100 years, will you please pray, every single person listening, will you please pray about starting off at $84 a month and be consistent? And if you'll do that, you'll help me help students that I believe God is raising up for Pentecostal ministry in these last days. I love you. I appreciate you. We covet your prayers. Our best is not behind us. Our best is ahead of us. Be sure to share these videos with Zion graduates, Northpoint graduates, all of our alumni over the years, friends of Northpoint. Let's get this channel out. Let's get this vision out. Let's do our best to rally behind. We believe in the soon coming of Christ, and because we believe in the soon coming of Christ, there is an urgency to our appeal. Will you please respond? I'll be waiting to hear from you. I would appreciate it if you'd drop me a personal note, and keep us lifted in prayer as Northpoint Bible College and Seminary flourishes in the days ahead by the will of God is our prayer.